Hi, I'm Josh Achman, Park Industries Customer Service Department. On this video, we are going to show you how to do a spindle sweep on a Titan. This is on a 4K Titan. It'll be very close to the 3K also here for your setup. So first step would be is to get your dial indicator. We have ours set up on the ITM tool here. If you do not have an ITM tool, you can also use your spindle table height tool. You can use the planing wheel and put it on the bottom side here. Or you can also put the dial indicator right on the bottom of the spindle there. And it just gets a little bit trickier with height and going directly off of the spindle with the height and the drive dogs get in that position. So to start out here, we have our dial indicator set up. We always set ours up at least 12 inches from the center of the tool. And our Z position, then we will just come down here. And I always like to dial in my Y axis first, so front to back. So if that needs to be changed, we can do that first, because if that does need to be changed, you need to shim the backside of the plate that the spindle's on and bring that out or in there. So we're gonna just come down with our Z axis. And when you dial in, you wanna pick a reference point on your table. You can put a dot on your table if you would like, so that you know you're right at the same point. We'll just come down here. And you just want to make sure your dial indicator is pushing up. And then you can zero out your dial indicator here. So when you have it down, we do recommend to do an actual sweep or dial that you're going off of one spot and you're driving the machine around in the 4 positions to do that. That is our recommendation how to dial. If you want a quick dial, you can grab the bottom of the spindle here. You have it zeroed out and just spin it in a circle to see how that is referencing, and just take note of your 4 positions. If you reference a clock, it would be at the 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock positions there. You can just give that a spin and see what your positions are at. So that is a quick, simple test to do just to see how your table or how your spindle's dialed in. You can have variables. The reason why we recommend moving it to the 4 positions, the spindle, you can have variation in your table, which would show that on the dial indicator. If you dial off of one spot, then you're strictly dealing with the dial here. So we're gonna zero out right here. And now my spindle's at, if this is my reference point, this will be my center. My spindle's at my 12 o'clock position now. So I'm gonna drive that straight across and get the spindle on the opposite side at the 6 o'clock position here and see what we get. Also, when you do dial in, you can, depending on your table condition, when you're driving, the vibration can cause the dial to move. So you can use a coin or a washer to hold that dial up. In this case, I'm going to just hold that up with a pen cap here. Just being careful I don't pull on this dial too hard and change that. We can keep that dial off of there so you don't get that vibration. If you want, you can also record your Z height and lift your Z up, drive to your next position, and then come down to your recorded Z height again. So once I'm in position here, I'm just, take note, I'm grabbing at the bottom of the spindle where the drive dogs are in here, and I'm turning it up on here. So I don't want to be pushing on my dial and cause that to give me inaccurate readings. So right here, I can see that I'm at 2 thou. So that is within tolerance. Our tolerance is, if we're 12 inches out on a brand new machine, our tolerance is 3 thou. We like to see that. With a used machine, you do have a little more variance there. You can go up to 6 thou out, but the more accurate you have it, the more accurate your edges will be, and the better tool life you'll get out of your tools also. So we are in tolerance here, so then we'll, if you did need to, we won't do anything here because we are in tolerance, but if we did need to move that anything, right here, you can see there is a shim behind ours. That would need to be shimmed, depending on what you're seeing. If you're seeing that the bottom of the tool needs to come towards the front of the machine, your shim would be at the bottom side there. If your tool needs to go to the back of the machine, then you would have to shim the top half and put a shim in up here. These bolts here are the bolts that hold it, and it's the same setup on the opposite side. So you just loosen these bolts and then use your pusher on the bottom or the top to push that out a little bit, insert your shim. For example, if you were 10 thousandths out here, we would only want to shim half the distance. So you'd want to find a 5 thou shim and put that 5 thou shim in on whichever side. Tighten everything up tight again. Make sure you back your pusher bolts out so that those are, your shim is holding tight in there. Tighten up your mounting bolts, and then you can check your dial again and see if you need to move. So now we'll show you the x-axis. Okay, now that our y-axis is accurate here, we're dialed in within 2 thou, we're going to check our x-axis. So going off same point, I'm going to use my pen cap, being very careful I'm not pushing on the dial, and hold that dial off of the table here. So now I'm going to get my spindle into position again. Just grabbing the top of the top of the tool here up by the spindle. We're going to rotate that to our 3 o'clock and set down. And you can see I'm within a thousandth of an inch here. And when you do dial, always make sure you're referencing that small indicator. Also, not that you're so far out that the large dial made one full revolution. So that's within a thou, and we'll put our cap back in and move to our other side. Grab just the top of our spindle here and sweep that around. And we will check our top side now. And we are within 2 thou on there also. If you did need to move your x-axis, if it is out, then what you'll do is kind of the same as the Y. You'll loosen up these bolts. Those are the mounting bolts here. And you'll loosen them, and it depends on which way you need to move. If you need the head of the spindle, the tool, to go to the left, then your left top bolt you would not move. If you need to move it to the right, so we're on the right side here, this bolt you do not loosen at all. You'll use that bolt as a pivot point, but you'll loosen all the bolts on the left side then, and every bolt below this top one. But leave that top one as your pivot point. Then you can use your pusher bolts here on the top and bottom and pivot that whichever way you need to. Once again, for example, you're only going half your distance. So if you are 10 thousandths out, you are only doing 5 thousandths, you're gonna move that dial. Tighten everything up tight again and recheck your axis. And if you do move your x-axis, it's a good idea to come back and double check your y-axis, that is still accurate. And just make sure you have a full spindle sweep that's accurate where you did not make any changes there. So that sums up how to dial in or sweep in your spindle on a Titan 4K. As always, if you have any questions, please give our customer service department a call and we'd be glad to help. Thank you.